Hi guys, welcome back. So in today's video, I will do a Maven bossing guide that includes all the boss mechanics and how to deal with them. Okay, so first of all, I would like to say this may not be the best guide out there, but I hope it covers every single thing that you will need to know. And secondly, I might miss out one or two things in this coverage, so do feel free to let me know if I'm missing anything in the comments or on Discord. Okay, so for the contents, I will first briefly explain who exactly is the Maven for people or beginners that do not know, and then I will proceed to the in-depth explanation of the different phases of the boss. And after every phase of the explanation or the guide, I will follow up with a video of my Maven run for that particular phase, so that you can have a closer look at the mechanics in action, as some of you might be wondering or scratching your head to what exactly is this skill that Maven casts. However, my video might not include every single skill that the Maven casts, so I apologize for that. And yeah, before I begin, how you should view my guide will be according to the signs indicated over here. So like for example, if you see 2-, it means the skills that is being used by the Maven or the brain, or what will happen next. So for the hash sign, is to show the estimated damage being dealt to you. For the asterisk sign, it will shows what you should do in my own opinion. Okay, so all the pictures will be shown on the right of the explanation right after that. Okay, let's move on. So who exactly is the Maven? Firstly, the Maven was introduced in 3.13 POE, the Echoes of the Atlas. And here it is, the Maven is actually the first Eldritch being to witness the player's deeds. So it is actually to witness the players conquer the Atlas. And the Maven sends the envoy as like a messenger from, I don't know, from some great place of darkness or something like that, to basically warn that his ward, which is the Maven, has arrived to witness or whatever that she's viewing. And the envoy actually mentioned that the Maven is a toddler, a nymph, a hatchling that has wandered too far from the nest. Okay, so the Maven, a toddler? You sure? I think something is wrong over here. Clearly you can see from the picture that based on her figure and her chest size or whatever, I'm pretty sure she's not a toddler. Okay, too much information. Moving along. And last but not least, taken from an official quote, when the Elder was sealed, entities far beyond the borders of the Atlas of World took note and turned their attention in our direction. The first such visitor is an entity called the Maven. She is hungry to witness your fight for survival against the Atlas' most dangerous foes. So what this actually means is that there are actually more Eldritch beings out there that have yet to come, and Maven is only one of the many few that have traveled here, and apparently she is the first to witness. So yeah, there might be many more other Eldritch being or contents that GGG is going to provide us in the upcoming patches. We will not know, so more to come, and just wait. Okay, so here comes the first guide, the phase 1, where the Maven and the brain will duo together. And yeah, things you should know first, this phase will be ongoing until Maven HP reaches 0%. It will be one of the most massive fight if prolonged, because of all the projectile and orbs flying everywhere. Yeah, and the skills that Maven or the brain uses is not in order. It is actually random. So I would actually say that if you have about 30 to 40 MDPS, you should clear this phase relatively fast. For me, it took about 10 to 15 seconds. But yeah, overall, if you have 30 to 40 AM DPS, Maven should be quite easy. Okay, so the skills that Maven will use, one of them will be the Maven will randomly shoot normal projectiles, and the estimated damage of it will be about 1k per hit. So she will probably shoot about 3 to 4 times. And yeah, just take the hit if you need to dodge other more damaging projectiles, which I will show later. But otherwise, just move around quickly in circles to avoid them. And the second skill, Maven will shout a cascade of pain and begin firing fast projectiles toward you. As you can see from the pictures, those are the projectiles. So the estimated damage will be about 2 to 3k per hit, and she will shoot about, I think, 5 to 6 times. Yeah, it's actually quite hurtful. So do avoid the projectiles by staying far from the initial shot and moving around, but make sure that you do not run back in the opposite direction that you came from, otherwise for sure it will damage you. And there is something that I noticed. I am not sure if this is really correct, but I think she doesn't cast this skill when you are in melee range. I'm not really sure for this. I can't really find a concrete evidence or information regarding this, but this is what I am assuming. Okay, the third skill that the Maven will use, she will actually shout stand still and begin firing lasers that intersects near you like scissors, like those claw-like lasers, as you can see from the picture. So the estimated damage will be 4k per hit. It might go even higher. This skill is actually really very pain, so try to avoid it at all costs if you can. And yeah, avoid by moving out of the area where she casts the laser. So as you can see from the picture, she actually casts on the right side. So try to move more towards the left side of the arena to avoid it. And yeah, even though she says stand still, please, I really do not recommend to stand still, because if you stand still, there will still be other projectiles hitting you, and you are like some free firing target bot over there.
Oh, dude, how long have you been standing there?
An hour.
An hour?
Are you serious?
I've mastered the ability of standing so incredibly still that I've become invisible to the eye. Watch.
You're eating a Zarg nut.
But my movement was so slow that it's imperceptible.
No.
I'm sure I'm invisible.
Hi, Drax.
Damn.
Okay, enough meme. For the fourth skill, the Maven will cast a faint light of purple circle on the ground and blast it. So this actually does a huge ton of damage. It's about 6k per hit. I think if you are those mediocre or having a very normal life build, you will probably get one shot from this. So avoid by working out of the small circle radius before the circle circumference is completed. So you can see this is actually the circle circumference. It will start by rotating around it. So once it's completed, the circle will sort of like explode. So yeah, you have plenty of time to walk out of it, unless you are probably daydreaming or something like that. Okay, next up will be the skills that the brain will use. The first skill will be that the brain will fire many lightning projectiles. I am estimating about 15 projectiles. Clearly I didn't go and count how many did it fire, but yeah. And these projectiles will become orbs rotating around the arena. So the estimated damage of the projectiles will be about 1 to 2k per hit, and the estimated damage of the orbs will be about 2 to 3k per hit when you come in contact with them. So when you come in contact with them, they will explode for a small radius, and yeah, you do about 2 to 3,000 for each of the explodes. Okay, so for this, try to stay far on the other end from the initial shooting of the projectiles to avoid getting hit by multiple of them. And yeah, when they turn to orbs, I would really highly recommend to try to come into contact with as many of the orbs as possible. Why is this so? Is so that you have one less mechanic to worry in the boss fight. And yeah, when you come into contact with them, you have 1 second or so to run away from the small explosion. It's definitely plenty amount of time to run away. So yeah, the orbs are there's actually quite a huge number of orbs rotating around. So yeah, just try to reduce the amount. Okay, the second skill, the brain will actually fire a slow moving ball lightning that will curve towards your direction. And the estimated damage will be 2 to 3k per hit. Yes, it can be painful, but it will not kill you instantly. And moreover, it is quite slow moving, so I am pretty sure you are able to dodge this. So yeah, just try to dash to the opposite direction of the curve. So let's say if it's bending on the left side, you will try to dash towards the right side and go behind it. Or if it's curving towards the right side, then you just dash onto the left side and go behind the ball lightning. Also because the ball lightning only travels forward. Okay, for the third skill, the brain will fire 3 big slow moving balls that will detonate into 3 more smaller homing balls. And the smaller homing balls will explode on contact with you, which will spawn a vortex zone like thingy, actually dealing quite a huge damage over time. So the estimated damage will be 1 to 2k per second within the zone, okay? This is only estimated. I think it might deal actually even more. I did not actually went to really notice it, but yeah, it's around there. So yeah, try to explode the smaller balls in the middle of the arena. So why is that? It's because when you fight the other phases, right, the vortex zone will actually remain in the center until the end of the fight. And when you're fighting the other phases, you will not even walk to the center because the brain will be over there. I will show this later on in the video. And also, let's just say if you're not in the other phases, it will actually allow you to dodge more projectiles and hit in the outer circumference of the arena, which actually indirectly provides you with a larger area of dodge chance. Okay, so for the fourth skill, the brain will actually shout death made real. So once it shouts this, it will start charging an attack with a purple pink light beam shown on the ground. So yeah, the picture shows an example. And this damage is guaranteed to one-shot you. Okay, so far I have not seen anybody surviving this. But yeah, you can just always let me know if you have tried to survive this. And okay, for this is just very simple because it is a charging attack. It takes some time to shoot. Try to run to the sides and avoid the line of sight from the beam. And my real advice is do not try and dash through or over it. I have tried it once and I died horribly. Like I just didn't know how I died. But after that, I realized that I actually went through the laser beam, and yeah, my advice is just do not dash through it. Okay, so now on to the phase 2 where you will take on the brain. Things that you should know first. This phase will be ongoing until the brain life depletes by 33%. So the sequence of the boss mechanics for this will be in order. Yeah, and if you touch the beams from the brain, guys, you really need to pray to RNG that nothing horrible happens for the next 10 seconds, because there will be a debuff for you that will last for 10 seconds. So yeah, for hardcore players, I will really highly recommend to lock out straight away, or if you do not have enough time, just pull your internet cable out, man. You don't want to die to such a mechanic. It is really horrible. So yeah, okay, the boss mechanics in sequence. First, the brain will start moving to the center of the arena, and then slowly the side platform ledge will appear from one of the corners. I actually do think that the platform ledge will appear 2 times, like one on each side. I am not really sure about this, I didn't take note, but usually I only see one platform ledge. So yeah, as you can see from the picture over here, this is one of the ledge. And yeah, if you do not stand on the ledge or the platforms, the damage is guaranteed to one-shot you from the brain. So the brain will actually explode and you will die instantly. Okay, so before standing on the platform, if you are afraid to actually find out where the platform will actually spawn, you can stand in the center to have a look first, and then once the platform forms, you can just immediately run to it to avoid getting exploded. Okay, so the next sequence will be when the brain has exploded, it will start channeling two side beams and then start spinning them in anti-clockwise direction. So these beams actually hurt quite a bit. The damage is about 5k per hit, and it applies a 10-second debuff that doesn't allow you to regenerate or leech, plus you take extra damage from hits. So this is the debuff that I'm talking about, and the laser beams, for those hardcore players, do really take note for this. You really don't want to die to this nonsense. Okay, so for the other players, please just stay calm and follow the beams by running in anti-clockwise direction. When I say follow the beams, I don't mean touching them. I meant like just follow closely behind. So yeah, do not go near it, and take note that the dash will actually allow you to pass through the beams, but lip slam will not. I have actually witnessed many videos from online or streamers that they actually lip slam past the laser beams, and when something touches them, they immediately die. And it actually will hurt quite a lot for those hardcore players. Okay, so once the brain has the beams up and rotating, it will start to spawn multiple map bosses. So for this section, it can actually spawn any of the map bosses. The most terrible ones that I have actually encountered on my own are the following. So the race course boss, we actually has damage with flag, and I actually encountered once and all my minions just died, and I didn't know what to do because I am left with my animate guardian walking around like some retarded person. Okay, the next is the piety of the domination. So the piety actually shoots one of the large laser beams, and it actually hurts quite a bit. Plus, if it does shoot out those corrupted ball lightnings, you are going to be in deep trouble, because the corrupted ball lightnings are very, very painful, especially when you are unable to dodge it and there's lots of damage over time being cast on you. Okay, so the next one will be the primordial block boss. So the primordial block boss has actually an immune phase, which is very irritating. Yeah, because when he's in the immune phase, you cannot target him, and you have to follow the beam, so he will be like in the opposite section of you. Okay, the last will be the Malashai. His slam attack and bleed is really insane. Actually, he is not really a terrible boss, but it's because of the small area we are given. It is hard to dodge his attacks, and the bleed does quite a large amount of damage to you. So yeah, the damage dealt to you really depends on which map bosses you get. Some of them are really easy and they just die very quickly. So yeah, for my opinion will be just try to focus on damaging the brain as much as possible. Like, just focus all your damage on the brain. The reason is because the map bosses will just respawn from the brain after you kill them. So let's say example, if I manage to kill the race course boss, the race course boss will not spawn again, but the brain will spawn another of map boss. Yeah, I mean, I think there will be chance that the race course boss might spawn again, but the chances are pretty low. So this is just an example to take note. Okay, so the last section will be once you have reduced the brain HP by 33%, it will start to float to the side and Maven will appear in the center. So that's where you know that phase 3 will come in play. Okay, so on to the phase 3, which is the memory game. I think this is the most hated section that everybody feels for the Maven boss fight. And yeah, okay, things that you should know, the memory game is actually extremely annoying at the later part of the fight, where you actually need to remember more tiles to step on. And okay, you should be able to complete the first round of the memory game relatively easy because there's only 3 tiles to remember. Okay, next is you can always lock out if you are too lazy to do the memory game at the later portion, which requires you to remember 6 section or tiles. And yeah, the final phase actually requires you to do the memory game as well as the insane mechanics that the brain has. So you can always do lockout if you just don't want to die or you are too lazy to do it. Like me, I've been logging out like 100% of it. Okay, so on to the boss mechanics in sequence. Firstly, the Maven will shout, "Death will not be an escape." And once she shout this, the memory game will begin. So you do need to pay attention to the purple highlighted edges of the tree section. They are the sequence that you will need to step on. So the first round will be only 3 sections, and thereafter will be 6 sections to remember. So this is an example of the purple highlighted edges, the section or the tiles. And okay, next mechanic, the Maven will shout "Scurry, scurry" after she has showed you the sections that you will need to step on. So once she shout this, you will need to start stepping the correct tiles. And at the same time, a circle in the center will start expanding and it deals large and fast damage over time. So if you step in the wrong sequence or wrong tile, the circle will actually expand at a much faster rate. And also something to take note, please do not stand near or within the circle when you have completed the memory game, because the circle will detonate and it is a one shot to you if you are near or within it. So basically it will just explode. Okay, so this is how the circle will look like. When it starts off, the circle is actually very small and it will start expanding from the center slowly, and it will grow bigger and bigger as time goes. So it will grow quite big and it will grow until the end of the circumference of the arena. So once it reaches the end of the arena, very likelihood, I think more like 100%, you will die and it will go to the next sequence or the mechanics of the boss. So okay, things to take note that stepping the correct tiles will be highlighted in green on the edges, as you can see from this picture over here. And then stepping on the wrong tiles will be highlighted in red on the edges, as you can see from this picture below. So yeah, I will really recommend standing on the first tile beforehand, like once the Maven actually shows you from the purple highlighted section, so that you will have one less section to remember. So like example, for the first round, you will have 3 tiles to remember, right? So if you were to stand in the very first section first, you will just need to remember 2 more, and then later portion where you need to remember 6. As long as you stand on the first tile, you will just need to remember 5 more sections. Okay, for the last part, you will return back to phase 1 once again after you have completed the memory game, and you will repeat from phase 1 to phase 3 for another 3 more additional times before the final phase starts. Okay, so this is the final phase of the boss fight, which is the big brain. The things you should take note first, this phase will only happen after you repeat phase 1 to 3 3 more times. And the laser beams from the brain works the same, where you will not be able to regen or leash. So once again, hardcore players, please lock out here as well. If you touch the beams or the same thing, just pull your internet cable out, because you really do not want to die over here. And yeah, I will say this is actually the most annoying part of the memory game. Like mentioned previously, I always lock out at this portion because I know I will screw it up. Definitely. Okay, so for the boss mechanics in sequence, firstly the brain will drop on the ground in the center, and it will start channeling and casting 5 lasers around the arena with gaps in between. So you can see from this picture, I have taken a screenshot. There are actually 5 laser beams, and there's actually gaps in between over here. Yeah. So same, the lasers will apply a 10-second debuff that doesn't allow you to regenerate or leech, plus you take extra damage from hits. And something to take note of, I did not mention previously, the lasers actually does not affect minions. I have no idea why, but I have noticed that my minions are not affected by the lasers. They are still regenerating as per normal. Okay, so try to go through the gaps or dash past the lasers to avoid as much as possible. And second sequence, the last memory game will begin. My English, oh my god. Okay, so the same thing that will happen in phase 3. It's just that there are now 5 extra rotating laser beams. My recommendation, honestly, lock out and lock in again. Since you won't even be able to do damage to the brain at this point of time, you are actually just playing this mini memory game along. I would really recommend to just lock out and lock in again to just simplify and fasten the process. Okay, so the next sequence, you will actually fight the Maven again like phase 1. Just that she will have an extra skill that shout, take this, and then she will cast a big ball of fire towards you, just like this. The ball will be actually quite big, and I think it's actually quite hard to dodge this, but you won't really need to dodge, because the fireball actually does about 2k damage or even less than that. I know it is not hurtful at all, so yeah, you can just take the damage and continue on. So okay, for this particular portion of the fight, what I really would recommend is just on all your flask, on all your skill, and just burst down hard on her as fast as you can. Because the faster you focus on her, the faster you damage her, the faster the fight will end. Otherwise, prolonging the fights can really lead to dangerous projectiles being fired from her. So like you can see from the first phase, she actually fired many projectiles, right? Like even the ones that has 5 to 6 projectiles. And yeah, you can actually die to that if you accidentally come into contact with the beams. So example, if you were to touch the beams and she were to fire those fast projectiles, I'm pretty sure like 2 to 3 shots and you'll be dead. Okay, so yeah, this is the final portion of the fight. The moment you get her HP down to 0%, you have actually completed the Maven.
Forced an intervention, Nomad.
And now I will go through the Maven Drops quite briefly. I want to go it pretty fast. So okay, it actually does drop the Legacy of Fury. You can see the description over here. This is only 1 chaos, it's pretty trash. The next is the Veridi's Veil, the helmet. Honestly, to me, 8 chaos is also pretty trash. Yeah, and the next is Aunt's Anguish. This costs 4 chaos. So I have actually seen quite a number of builds using this. I'm not really sure how this is being managed, but yeah, I've seen quite a few builds use this. So even though it's priced at 4 chaos, I think it is still not so bad. Okay, the next will be the Olisia's Delight. It's another useless belt. It's priced at 2 chaos. And another useless cloth belt, which is the Graven's Secret. I think not many people uses this as well. It's priced at 2 chaos. And yeah, if you get the doppelganger guys, I think it's actually not bad. It is priced at 30 chaos. You can either sell them or use it. I am not really sure where is this being used, but I didn't really research on it. But yeah, if it's 30 chaos, then it should be quite useful somewhere. Okay, so this is the more promising drops. The Elevated Sexton, which is priced at 30 chaos. I think this is not bad. It actually has a 42% drop rate also. So this drop rate is actually taken by one of the sites or Reddit that people have actually posted. If you have actually watched Grimrow, and he has this POE profit site, it actually shows a 42% drop rate as well. I would not want to be very sure about this, but yeah, this is just the estimated percentage. Same for the Maven Drops. I think it has a 22% drop rate, so probably you'll get 1 out of every 5 Maven runs. And yeah, this is the most delicious out of all of them. It is priced at 3 Exalt and it is sold extremely fast. I think you can get this sold pretty quickly, because those people that have actually farmed a lot will require quite a number of this as well. Yeah, and it also does drop a various number of unique watch stones. So this is just one of the different examples of it, which is the Restless Cycles. It also has a chance to drop just the usual platinum watch stones with the different various regions. So yeah, this is only actually priced at 5 to 20 chaos. I mean, it's really better than nothing. So yeah. Okay, so that comes to the end of my Maven bossing guide. Hope you guys enjoy it. And my final take or advice regarding the Maven will actually be do not farm for the Maven Ops. Even though the chances are actually decent, but it is not decent enough to earn back what you spend. So I will only do this for the sake of the Uncharted Realm passive points, and that's it. Or if probably your friend needs some carry. And yeah, okay, so once again, I hope this guide covers all of the mechanics and the details on what you need to know regarding the Maven fight. Okay, so thank you for watching. Do remember to hit the like and subscribe button if you wish to see more videos or content from me. I really do appreciate everyone's support, as I'm still learning at this point of time. Well, I may not be the best at video making, but I really do what I like when it comes to content sharing. So yeah, thank you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!